Greetings, anyone who's here. I'm going to be doing the October report for another sign in just a moment. I'm just getting set up here. I hope you don't mind. So give me a second and we will get to it shortly. Hold on. So settle in, get comfortable. Okay. Hey Steve, greetings. I'm just going to get set up here. I'm going to be pulling the next reading. I'm going to do 3 more readings today. It is Thursday, September 26th. It is the Pacific West Coast time, closing in on 1 o'clock. And we're doing these things live now because it's much more fun, and I get to have some companionship, and we have a little bit of so-called rapport. Hey JGF, what's flying, man? Hi Steve. Yeah, I saw those lyrics you sent. Wow, pretty intense stuff. You know how Taurus Lumination, I keep saying, that's okay Steve, don't worry, because we're gonna, this is all gonna get loaded onto the channel anyway, so just do what you got to do with your clients and customers. Don't worry about Taurus Lumination, just do what you got to do. So we've done already the reports for Cancer. Okay, we've got that. We've got Pisces. Okay, we've got Aries. All of these are already loaded onto the channel. Okay, we've got Virgo, we've got Scorpio, we've got Aquarius, and we've got Capricorn. These are the guys who are left. We're going to pick one of these right now, and I'm going to have 2 more shows later today. So we're going to end up doing 3 reports today, and we'll have 2 more for Friday. Okay? So that's how that's going to work, and then we'll have all the reports done for October. Pretty straightforward, I hope. Okay, I'm just having a last sip of my decaf here. Okay, so let's do it. Let's just make it very, very simple and professional. As you know, we've done this before. You've seen this plenty of times, especially on Wellness Wednesday or the lucky draws, especially the lucky draws. Sometimes we have lucky draws for anybody. Sometimes we have extra special lucky draws for members only. So I'm going to shake it up just a tiny bit more. Just a tiny bit more. And we're going to do it. Okay, just so hang in. All right, that's enough. That's enough. We did it. We did it. We got it done. So I'm just going. There's only a few left. Okay. It's dwindling, but we still leave everything to chance here. So each reading, there's no chance for me to prep up the homework in advance. We're going to go live and raw, okay? So it looks like this. One of these is going to get picked. There's nothing in my hands, okay? So here it is. Today, on this recording, live right now, we are going to read for, let's have a look. Let's have a look here. Taurus. Okay, this is it. This is for all the Taurians out there, sun, moon, and rising. However you guys like to interpret yourself. Okay, that's you, Taurus. And this post-it note is done. It has served its purpose. Thank you, dear post-it notes. It's gone into post-it note heaven. And we're down to 4. There's only 4 remaining. 2 more today and 2 more tomorrow. So today, right now, it's all about you, Taurus. You are going to be the star of this video. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to tuck everyone else away until later. And that is that. Pop this lid on. Yes, nectar of the gods. Truly, Stephen. Did you see that thing, Stephen, the other day on inside the brain of Bill Gates? He's a total caffeine junkie. He has to have his coffee, and he drinks, like I guess it's Coca-Cola, like all day, every day. So he's just he's totally junked out on caffeine all day, every day. So his brain is essentially a computer that's designed to find problems and find solutions once you've identified the problem. Thank you, Bill Gates. Everything is here that's happening here right now on this channel. A lot of it is due to Bill Gates. I have a Windows 10 system here. There we go. All right, here, let's have a look. Now, it looks, according to what YouTube is showing, that there's a lot of buffering going on up there, but that's not the problem here. Everything at the studio is looking really good right now, okay? So, let me just say hi first, and then to show you that Lumination is a real person. Greetings. Greetings. Also, you know, in honor of the 2 gods of computers, this is my Steve Jobs t-shirt. This is a black t-shirt. It's not a polo neck, but you could just say I'm one of those people. You know how some people have a whole wardrobe full of white t-shirts? I have a bunch of black t-shirts, so this is not the same t-shirt I've been wearing all week, by the way. Okay, just want to let you know. All right, so let's get on with it. We're going to go find the astrodoodle for Taurus. All right. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Steve. Steve Jobs. And Steve Stanley. Thank you. Alright, so this is what it looks like, people. This is the generic stuff for the month. I've shown this to everybody. So we start off the month with the new moon in Libra. It's actually technically the leftovers at the end of September, but you know, with the lunar cycles, okay, there's the tippy end of the last lunar cycle, and then we get the new moon, and then it starts to pick up. The real pickup is early in October, so that's why I'm allocating energy for the new moon into early October. We've got a bunch of other things, and then towards the middle of the month, we are going towards the full moon in Aries, okay? It's kind of an awkward one because there's a lot of hard angles that go along with it, just besides the full moon itself. And then towards the end of the month, we have the new moon in Scorpio. So it might be a little awkward towards the end of the month. You might feel the pressure building up, Taurus, because Scorpio is technically, in terms of Western astrology, your sign of maximum opposition. It's not the sign of, it is the sign of opposition. It's the marriage sign. It's also the house of open enemies. It's the house of like one-on-one contracts, chosen relationships, sometimes under great duress, but it's the place where there's nowhere to hide, okay? It's the place of maximum clarity of reflection from the mirror. So the relationship dynamic is very, very important coming up towards the end of the month and into November for all Tauruses, okay? It's a big stellium as well, dear Taurus. Stellium in Scorpio, so you're going to probably feel that pressure building up even before we get there. I'm not going to talk about the rest of this. I'm just focusing on the yellow highlights for the lunar transits, okay? We still have Uranus, Neptune, Pluto retrograde all month. Saturn, I believe, is going direct. Let me go to the Taurus astrodoodle for you. It is right here. It is right here. It is right here. There we are. See, I told you. Give me a second. I want you to see all this. Oh my gosh, it's got a lot of red ink. Well, let's say soft, gentle red, okay? Think of it as like a weather report. You know, when you go to the weather reports and things, they almost always focus on the really tricky stuff because that's what you need to know. All the stuff that's really sweet, we just take it for granted. And it's the same with things with astrology and tarot and everything. So mostly, if you want to, you can think of Tarot Illumination as a storm chaser, and I'm just trying to figure out all the problems that lay ahead, okay? So I'm trying to do what Bill Gates does. I look for problems and I find solutions. Cheers. But this is decaf. All right, so let's start at the beginning of the month. Hold on, I'll get to that in a moment. Over here, this is the beginning of the month. Okay, sorry, hold on. Let me hold it steady. This is not a real chart, by the way, dear Taurus. This is a Tarot Illumination astrodoodle. It's a collection of bits and pieces and highlights that stick out to me and that I feel are worthy of mention. Okay, so we start off over here with the new moon in Libra. Libra rules your 6th house. Work, day-to-day chores, activities, practices. It's the area of life where we spend a lot of time doing refining, cleansing, purifying, clarifying, things that have to be done. Stuff that is like often routine or habitual, that often has very little in terms of thanks or reward or acknowledgement or recognition. It's just stuff that has to be done. Okay? So you can associate that with health too. Healthy habits. What kind of habits do you have, Taurus? Are they healthy habits? Or are they unhealthy habits? It's a chance for new starts and new beginnings to identify all your unhealthy habits, okay, which will become more apparent at the full moon, and then replace them with healthy habits. I don't know if you've heard that kind of philosophy before. So much of our lives is conducted through habits. Practices, brushing our teeth, going to the bathroom, getting up to here, going to there, going from there back to here, listening or not listening, just doing everything in terms of things that we teach ourselves that hopefully work, okay? We teach ourselves how to work. Sometimes we like to be employees, sometimes we like to employ others, but this is mostly a place of work and just stuff that has to be done. So think of new starts, new beginnings here for your health. That's what I'd like to say. 2 weeks later, we're going to cruise through all of this, okay? And we're going to get to the full moon. The full moon is in Aries. Aries rules your 12th house. This is the house of, let's say, divinity, the house of universal love, the house of connecting and being at one with heaven. It's a very idealized situation. It's very, very dreamy, okay? Which is beautiful in its own way, but it's also in some ways very detached from earthly realities. So it's very easy to slip into the flip side of the Neptune energy, which would be, you know, illusions, delusions, betrayal, deception, self-sabotage, victimhood, and actually being a perpetrator. A lot of this house can also represent imprisonment or hospitalization. You can be imprisoned for being a perpetrator, okay? Someone who is in denial of the shadow side of themselves, okay? So anyway, I think towards the middle of the month for you, Taurus, you'll have very subtle awakenings, perhaps through the dream world, about all the things that are really not working for you, how you've undermined yourself, how you've allowed yourself to be undermined by other persons or situations or cultural upbringing, whatever that is. And then you have another 2 weeks to integrate that. Hopefully you do it effectively and constructively using the protocols that were set up here. In other words, refine, cleanse, clarify, purify, distill out anything and everything that does not work, that's not healthy for you, and whatever remains, hopefully those will be healthy habits. And then you institute those habits as the dominant habits from now onwards, because you're going to need to be in the best shape, the best form possible when you get to Scorpio season. Okay, it starts at the end of the month. Sun enters Scorpio over here on the 24th, and you get the Scorpio new moon on the 28th. So this is an energy of tremendous opposition. Also, you have Uranus and Taurus over here, so this lends you the energy of highly unpredictable, radical shifts and changes in your sense of self, the person you see in the mirror, your physical body. So it might be a very physical experience by the time you get to the end of September. You really feel it in your body, almost like perhaps really gut-sickening feelings of whatever doesn't still work, and really delicious feelings of what does work. Because with the Scorpio energy opposing you, you get the gift, the wonderful gift of having maximum clarity and reflection thrown back at you. This first house, seventh house dynamic is the most satisfying, most rewarding relationship dynamic there is, so long as you can handle the pressure, because there's nowhere to hide. It's also the house of marriage. So as you know, with marriage, it can be one of the most profound decisions people make in their lives. So you pray that you've made the right decision, because it is a contract, a binding contract in front of other people. So when it goes wrong, you're really vividly aware of when it goes wrong. So just understand the energy of maximum opposition, maximum potential, maximum awareness here, but also potential worst enemies. So be very, very careful. So it's a build-up. To me, it feels like October is a build-up period, a learning, cleansing, clarifying process to get to the point where, like, oh gulp, I hope I've got as ready as I can for that feeling of maximum polarity, because there's no way to escape. So you need to be on your best form, okay? All through the month, building it up, getting to be on your best form, Taurus. Let's have a look. Let's go over to some cards for a moment. I'm going to put this aside in case we need it. I'm going to do 3 small spreads. I'm going to use a miniature crucible spread regarding relationship issues, okay? And then I'm going to use a situational spread like we do on the live shows for Super Chats. And then I'm going to round it off with an oracle, okay? Cheers, everybody. Thank you for being here. The Uranus and Taurus thing is really supported. Hold on, let me just show this to you before we get into it. So I hope I didn't scare you too much. All this Uranus and Taurus thing, you've got another at least 5.5, 6 years to go for this journey, Taurus. It's for all of you. Highly unpredictable, radical upheavals and changes, awakenings. And the whole idea is to awaken yourself, liberate yourself, and unshackle yourself from anything and everything that's obsolete and redundant. Uranus demands freedom, wants freedom. Okay? That is heavily supported by the Capricorn energy over here. That's very, very sweet. And especially when the moon transits Virgo every month. So that's going to be going on for quite a while. So every month you're going to have a sweet spot when the moon is in Virgo. Just wanted to let you know. Just trying to be helpful. All right, let's have a look. So I'm using this crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, dear Taurus, a significant other or certain significant others, and third entities, or a third entity called the relationship itself. A crucible is a bowl type structure that's designed to withstand intense pressures and alchemical reactions in a laboratory, which is very similar to what happens in human relationships. That's why I have this crucible spread. Okay? The third entity, the relationship, it is a living thing. It's like a potted plant. It has a structure and has like a little bowl shape. And so what is the nature of this thing? Is it leaky, wobbly, strong, well-maintained, well-nurtured, well-watered, proper amount of sunlight and nutrients? Or is it neglected or cracked or broken? What is it? Let's have a look. I'm just going to finish shuffling. Give me a second. One last little round. Thank you very much. I can see from the screen that very few people have their notifications today. That's kind of sad for the channel, but that's just how it is. I don't have any control over how the YouTube does the notifications. What can I tell you? Alright, so let's have a look here. Let's break this up. I'm going to start nice and wide, but then we're going to tighten it up after the reading. Okay, here we go. Please invite your invisible friends. I do personally believe in invisible friends because I feel like I have a large family. Let's say beyond the veil. Let's call it that. Okay? Over here, what are you radiating? Think of yourself like a smartphone, always transmitting and receiving energy in voice mode. Okay? The energy flows both ways. Over here, what about a significant other? Same thing. What are they radiating? They are transceivers as well, transmitting and receiving energy. Are we aware of that? Are you responsible for the energies that are transmitting and receiving? And over here, this is the third entity. I think of it as the relationships itself. And then you can see, hopefully here, the crucible, like the bowl type structure. This is a miniature spread, but it still has some impact, okay? Let's have a look over here. This is what's growing. If you think of it like a potted plant, something that is being fostered here. And of course, just like a potted plant, it has energy that surrounds it, like being in a garden, being on the street, like being in a little indoor place, or being way out in the wild. Okay, all of it is energy. Everything is energy in different vibrational frequencies, including the magnetic effect and gravitational effect of the planets. And I like to consider that because for myself in my personal life, even though Steve and I do subscribe to free will, I'm very much an adherent of free will, I like to filter my decisions through an understanding that there are, let's say, gravitational impulses that do affect our behavior, just the way the moon operates, okay? So I go big and wide with the planetary influences. Hello, Love Driver. You got a notification. All right, here's the weather. I'm calling this the weather, okay? Circumstantial energy, environmental influences. And you have the High Priestess. Okay, to me this is a little bit like goddess energy that I'm sensing for you, Taurus. My feeling is that there's a big part of you which is already kind of on top of yourself. Like you already sensed it inside of your being that this month was coming, and it requires what I think of as diligence, patience, care, consideration, like a very almost like a because it's the 6th house energy. The Libra is in your 6th house. Let me show you. Hold on. So I'm seeing it as a very meticulous type of energy where you're already appraised, you already understand what's happening, you're going to take full advantage of this cycle, the first 2 weeks, and in the last 2 weeks, the integration of this. It's all about getting your act together, okay? So you knew this, you instinctively knew this, and that's what you're going to do because you have to do it, and you're going to live and learn as you go along. Okay? Whatever you need to know will come to you when you need to know it. Anything less, don't worry about it. And anything more, don't worry about it. This is a card, to me it feels like being very, very deeply in tune with the super high frequencies, psychic, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, extrasensory perception, high sensory perception, mediumship, those kinds of energies where, I'm not saying you are going to be one of those people in terms of a day job or something. All I'm suggesting is that you're surrounded by this energy, and I think this energy is like coming into like a reflection back to you, so that it's an indication. The way I'm feeling this is that the High Priestess energy here is saying that you're almost like an embodiment of this, like a wizardess type of energy. Whether you're male or female, you can still carry male and female energies inside of you, whatever your biological gender. And so this is an indication that I think you're doing a really, really good job of being a wizardess, okay? Again, don't worry about the gender. And that you have secrets, answers that are, what you could say are privileged, and you are the carrier, okay? And your job is to reveal what needs to be revealed when it needs to be revealed, nothing less and nothing more. And no one else has to know. You're just minding your own business, taking care of you, doing your own, literally minding your own business. Over here, what are you radiating here? With the Prince of Pentacles. Again, this is a very supportive energy. I think what's happening is you're taking advantage of the Uranus and Taurus in deep harmony with Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, and you are riding that thing to your advantage. Especially every month when the moon goes through Virgo, you'll have a couple of days where this is very beneficial for you. You will have that late in October, by the way, the three of them together, all that Virgo, Earth, all that Earth energy. So with the Prince of Pentacles here, this is like the Knight of Pentacles in a traditional Rider-Waite deck. My feeling is that you, in a very, very classic Taurus type of way, very methodical, steady, paced, very diligent, responsible, very deeply in tune with nature, earth, physical reality, money, stuff, things, the rising and setting of the sun, the change of the climates, the changing of the weather, the changing of people, attitudes, perceptions, and beliefs around you. You are rolling with it. You're not a victim of any of it. In fact, to me it looks like you are farming it. You are exploiting it. Not exploit in a mean, abusive way, but exploiting it in a very responsible way that is very beneficial. Number one, for you, and number two, for anyone and everyone else around you. So to me, this looks very complementary. Very complementary energy. The energy that you are transmitting and yourself, like if I could do a snapshot of you energetically and I saw the Prince of Pentacles here in this deck, I would say, wow, Taurus, you are truly optimizing yourself in your element, slow and steady, okay? Making the best of it all. And it's in consideration of a relationship dynamic too. What about the other parties over here? Okay. It might be a little confounding with the Fool card here. You might be a little bit of a mystery, or maybe a serious mystery to certain significant others in your life. In other words, you are doing an extremely good job of minding your own business in your own way. And it's very private. It's very, very personal. Not everybody needs to know every detail about your soul evolution. You're just taking care of your own business. It's almost like you could be talking to yourself like, well, why doesn't everybody else conduct their life this way? You know, it's one of the healthiest things that you can do. But most people don't, because we're so preoccupied with other things. So my feeling is that it looks like October is a month where you're going to be really focused on minding your own business in a very private, intimacy with self kind of way, where it really doesn't matter what everyone else is doing or how they're doing it. It's up to them how they respond. But it's kind of confounding because a lot of people are not used to someone behaving in such a, what I think of as a very high frequency way to operate and conduct oneself life as a human being. And so they're almost like left stuck as an observer, like, what's going on with Taurus? Like, you know, I thought we were going to be doing this, or I thought we were going to be doing that. And because I can't really tell, because they seem to be perfectly content in their own sphere, their own personhood. And that's great for them. But like, what am I supposed to do with all of this? I'm not totally sure. And it would make them become like a puzzle to themselves. Almost like, wow. The energy of the mirror in relationship. If this energy is the mirror of the Taurus to the Taurus, and this energy is the mirror of the other party to the other party, then there could be an energy of like deep consideration. Like, in other words, wow, I don't think I would be in this relationship dynamic unless I had some kind of parallel equivalent energy happening inside of me. That's interesting. I don't see a direct conversation happening about this between me and my significant others, other over here, but I can tell by reflection, okay? Okay, like this, like, wow, it's like you are a mystery to yourself, a puzzle to yourself, just as Taurus might appear to be a mystery to others and a mystery to themselves. My feeling is, in fact, that Taurus knows exactly what they're doing, and they're doing a really, really good job of it, and it's pretty rare, a very rare thing to witness. So that puts the other party like, seriously, wow, what is going on here? This is amazing. It's also very puzzling. It's very beautiful. I'm so glad to be a witness here. There must be, I am part of this. I am the reflector, a mirror of all of this. So in some ways, I'm seeing something like the mystery and beauty and wonder of myself too. Fascinating. I never really thought of myself like that in relationship. So to me, this looks very mutually beneficial, but in ways that the other party would definitely not be used to, but you are totally getting it. It's almost like, it's not them, it's not my problem. In other words, it's almost like, shh, Terra Lumination, thank you for mentioning this, because the reality is, it is not my problem about what's going on with them. I might love them very, very dearly, and they might love me very dearly, but I'm still an individual, and it is my ultimate duty to myself to be the most the best person that I can be. And if it's perplexing to the other party, yes, just a little bit, then that's their problem. It's not my problem. I'm just being me. Okay, so it's a little bit confounding. It's a little bit puzzling. It might leave them feeling a kind of adrift. Well, what am I supposed to do now? Because back in three-dimensional life, people would look for things like, oh, well, when are we supposed to meet? Or didn't you say we were going to do this? Or I thought you were going to do that. And it turns out to be something else. So it's a little bit confounding, but it looks like each party is reserving the right to be ultimately themselves without any form of judgment or any type of expectation or pressure. Okay, so that side of it is really, really good. Very, very wholesome. What about at the core here? Oh, wow. So I have temperance here for you, Taurus. To me, this looks like it's almost like you become a gift to each other, each in your own unique way. I think you're starting to realize you are extremely valuable to each other as distinct individuals. And you know what we talk about in love and relationship a lot of times, that, hello Candace, I just saw you. Hello Robin, I saw you. We talk about, I think it's in that, what deck is it? The Romance Angels deck, where the most powerful form of love is self-love, and then you make that your priority, and you don't dumb yourself down, you don't compromise. You make sure that you are with someone who's deeply loving themselves, someone who deeply cherishes themselves and their identity, even though there might be a lot of mysteries to themselves they don't understand yet, just like there are to you, dear Taurus. But to me it feels like there's a lot of mutual respect and understanding here, but from a very, let's say, highly impersonal perspective. Deep love, deep understanding, but I'm not talking about the gooey romantic kind. I'm talking about very profound at the soul level here. And it is expressed in the nature of the relationship, where you are truly gifts to each other, each in your own unique ways. You might still be a deep puzzle to the other, and the other might be still a deep puzzle to you. I got that the wrong way around. You might be a deep puzzle to the other, and the other might be a deep puzzle to you, but the puzzle is still understood to be very beautiful and valuable, in that you, dear Taurus, are a very powerful healing force on a significant other, and the significant other is also a very beneficial energy for you too. So it's mutually beneficial healing here. This is a really powerful card of healing, including self-healing, but also the kind of healing that can only occur in the context of relationship. There's so much that we can do outside of the context of relationship, but certain types of healing and spiritual advancement and growth and love at the most profoundly rewarding deep soul level occur in the context and have the experience in the context of relationship. So to me, this feels like it's a really powerful reading for you, Taurus. Very kind of profound at the soul level. Let's have a look what's happening over here. And so you get to experience, so don't be scared of the devil here. My feeling is that you get to experience the absolute most delicious elements of what happens in a loving relationship, where there is a deep sense of bonding between self and other and self. And then that's fantastic. In some ways, this is just, it's almost like, it's, to me, I mean, I know it's a strange way to look at the card, but to me it feels like this is what happens. Because there's an interpretation in the Thoth deck version of this where it's like people give each other permission to enjoy the most delicious things in life that you can experience in the context of love and relationship, in terms of like lovemaking, passion, the enjoyment of each other's company, the deliciousness of being acknowledged and highly bound to another in a way that's highly beneficial. Literally like having a glass of champagne with each other and kind of going ka-ching, ka-ching, sip, 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 sip. And you really, really, it's almost like you indulge in that. I'm not saying you get drugged out and drunk together. All I'm suggesting is that it's a high level of bonding which is very delicious and very satisfying, and it can only happen in the context. That deliciousness, that savoring of the deliciousness of physicality of life, and you are a very physical Taurus, at this level would only happen in a deeply loving, committed relationship where both parties have decided to make like a committed bond to each other no matter what. So even when things get really challenging and you might be thinking, I want out of this, I need to bust out of this, I can't take the pressure anymore, I wish these chains would just melt and rip off, either they would just, cut them, you snip the chain, you snip the cords, no, I'll snip the cords, but then you say, well, wait a minute, what are we going to do without each other? This is so valuable to us and we chose this. And then you kind of realize, wow, oh, I see what you mean. This is the art of living in a relationship where you accept the very best and the worst of being together in relationship. And you end up, think of this as like a flower. If I flip this around, if you look at it, just think of this as a beautiful, beautiful flower. It's very delicious, very attractive, and you wouldn't want to mess it up. But it does require the context of relationship and the binding nature of relationship for this to flower and blossom at all. Okay? So you might as well savor this, Taurus, like a very, very delicious, expensive glass of wine or champagne or a beautiful dinner at a restaurant. Okay? That kind of feeling. See it as a very beautiful, beautiful, unique, exotic flower that you guys own here. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to add anything more. You can reinterpret however you want. I know a lot of you are avid readers as well, so just go for it. I'm just giving you what I felt and saw like a little movie. Okay? Now, let's have a look. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of split the screen here, and I'm going to go and do a situational spread. It's kind of like a diagnostics. Steve would understand that. Okay, let's pretend there's a customer here, a client. Pretend you're a car, a Taurus, and you got some issues going on. Like, I need a diagnostics. Can you tell me what's going on? What do I need to pay attention to? Is do I need new tires, the windshield wipers? Do I need an oil change? My transmission is clunky. Or what's going on? What are the good things, the challenges? And well, you'll see in a moment. Okay. So think of it as a diagnostics. We're plugging you in. We're going to have a look, see if there's any red lights we need to watch out for. All the sweet stuff. Maybe you'll just get a pat on the back and say, well done, you're fine. Go for another 30,000 miles. Something like that. Hold on, I want to check in with you guys. Hold on. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm right here. It's the middle of the day here on Pacific time. And this is the first of 3 readings that we're going to have today. So notifications seem to be a big problem today. So, it might be a very, very small crowd hanging out here, but that's okay. Give me a second. I want to have my final sip. Oh, I'm not paid to promote that. So we're going to go back. We're going to do a little situational spread, and then we're going to finish off with an oracle, okay? Hello, Taurus. Hello, dear Taurians. Remember, I think you're doing a superb job, by the way. That's the new cool symbol for the Cool Kids Club. I learned that recently. All right. Hey, the Floyd. I see you. What's going on? So I'm going to shuffle it up. Cards are already well shuffled in advance, but I'm going to go to the last second so that you guys are a witness, okay? Love Triber got a notification. Cool. I guess Robin did and Candace did. Steve did. Must have done. All right, let's have a look. Bless this little deck. Bless every single card. Bless the whole show. Bless the channel. Bless all the Tauruses. Bless everybody who's out there. And bless the cameras and electricity and internet and the platform. All of the stuff that gives us the chance to do these amazing things that we do here. Here's the situation. Here's the challenge. And here's how we're going to handle it. Just think of this as like a snapshot overview of October. As though Terra Lumination is flying one of JGF's huge drones way up in the sky, and we need to do an observation, come down really, really tight, like an eagle that's coming into land, and we need to check out what's going on. Let's have a look. Let's look at the weather for you. So we have the King of Cups here. So, dear Taurus, my feeling is that this is kind of like to me it feels like a stern message. Okay, the stern message is like, be prepared, dear Taurus, to maintain your integrity, your dignity, your self-respect, your honor, your sovereignty, your selfhood, your personhood, against all the potential swirling drama and disturbances that may occur through the month. Whether it's your own issues as you're working on yourself, or any kind of turbulence or confusion or misunderstanding that might come between yourself and certain significant others. Deep understanding of the journey of the month, the way we talked about earlier, in terms of being prepared to identify habits that don't work, and once you figure that out, integrate the new ones that do work and find out ways to reveal and heal the ones that don't work, so that you can get into the Scorpio season as fully prepared as humanly possible. Okay, so October is potentially awkward, uncomfortable, challenging, but also potentially very satisfying when you do maintain your sovereignty at this level. Okay, obviously love being the priority. Prioritize love, okay, as the highest priority of all, and make it your business to be someone who lives by example, okay? It's not easy, just saying, okay? So, it's like, you know, it's a beautiful car, but what I'm sensing is that it's just that you have to be aware you're heading in towards the Scorpio season, so you're going to be required to maintain your most optimal self because you're going to be facing maximum opposition. Doesn't mean it's bad, it's just when you enter the Scorpio season, it's going to put you through, it's going to put you into the like a vortex of maximum opportunity, maximum pleasure, maximum appreciation, maximum reward, maximum risk for what it means to be a Taurus, okay? Maximum reward, okay? Also, there's a tremendous opportunity to learn so much about yourself in this way. What's the situation here? Okay, so with the Seven of Cups here, my feeling is that along with the High Priestess energy here, you might be a little bit scattered, which is understandable, because this month is like a precursor month to the Scorpio season. So you might be feeling a kind of a oh gulp type of energy, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do this? Well, you're already on top of it, and you know you're going to do it. You know you can handle it, but deep inside, emotionally, it makes me feel as though you might have like a queasy tummy going through the month to get through and face all these things, because there's the I see this as, let me go to the chart minute, because there's this Neptune energy that I'm sensing here. Okay. All right, it's not very well highlighted or emphasized here, but remember, Neptune is in Pisces, okay? Still right here deep in it. And I think when I see the Seven of Cups here, I think this is referring to Neptune in Pisces in such a way that you're doing a really, really good job of handling the potential stressors of this new moon, full moon in the Libra Aries axis on a very, very sensitive aspect of your chart, prepping you up for another really important aspect of your chart, the Scorpio season of maximum polarity. And so you might be getting a little bit wobbly, figuring out like, how's this going to turn out in my community, my friends, in the way like my hopes and dreams and wishes for life would show up, like with the people that I love in my world and my community. And again, to me it feels like there's a bit of disorientation, and that you might end up being a puzzle to yourself as you go through all this. I think you're going to handle it, and I think everyone else who's very close to you and loving of you will handle it. And I think they're going to be very forgiving of you as you go through your own like wobbly moments, because you can't live your life in absolute isolation. I think there's a lot of deep, deep internal shifting that's happening here, and you'll experience that in the context of love and relationship. And that would have an impact on your physical body in terms of health, like a desire to self-medicate and then realizing it's not healthy to self-medicate to these kind of levels. Also, a desire to love and be loved, but then again, having to figure out how do we actually define that. Remember, over here, okay, in the 12th house, when you get to that full moon, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on realizing anything and everything that's not working. And so it could be this. So looking at this very positively, it could be really, really helpful for you to understand the illusions and the delusions that have been held in terms of love and life and relationship, in terms of love on the very broadest sense, in spirit, to humanity, your place in this world, and then at the same time what it means to you romantically in your personal life as a person. Like the delicious type of romance that I'm talking about here. So to me it looks like quite a lot of puzzling going on, figuring out how to put words to it and translate it into a way that has meaning for you. So it's going to require you to be very, almost like, not strict with yourself, but very, very, very conscientious and determined not to be destabilized by all the potential things that might destabilize you as you get closer to the point of revealing for the healing. Because when you get there, there's going to be a lot of revelations of what doesn't work. And what doesn't work might be the energy of, like the Seven of Cups here, the energy of self-delusion, self-sabotage, the ease of getting lost in what is love or what is not love. How do I define love? Okay, so what's the challenge with this? Okay, more cups here. Very, very powerful emphasis on the cups energy. So it makes me feel as though you're getting glimpses, again, with the High Priestess energy here, you're getting glimpses like behind the veil of what it really, truly means to love and be loved. Almost at the point of divinity. It's almost like you're going to be very privileged this month to have a really good look behind the veil and understand what it really truly means to love and be loved, okay? At a very high frequency level. And then once you figure that out, and you come back down to earth, you think, well, if loving and being loved with this person is different from loving and being loved with another person, with whom do I celebrate? How do I celebrate this so that we are all loving, we are all loved as one? Okay? Like in the community energy over here. So in other words, there's no jealousy, there's no superiority, there's no inferiority. It's just loving and being loved almost like an egoless type of energy. Okay, so that puts you at odds with the simple fact that you're a human being. It's great to have all this exposure to this very divine energy and having to maintain your sovereignty through it all, but it's actually very hard to translate this into a three-dimensional working pattern. Like, how am I actually going to integrate all this love power into a functional life? Okay, with myself, with others, and with another, and so on. It's a bit of a problem. How do we deal with it? Okay, let's just accept that you're under a lot of pressure. And I think this is going to be, with the Strength card here, I think this is very much to do with the Scorpio energy, where the Scorpio energy is going to be utterly, not fierce, but completely unambiguous, and it's not going to pull any punches. It's not going to shy away or retreat from being the most valuable mirror possible in your life. So when you come towards the end of the month, okay, over here, and you reach the season, the Scorpio season, to me it looks like it's going to be a serious gulp moment, like gulp, and you're going to realize that you've been under a lot of pressure all month, and you've been dealing with it extremely well. You get exposed to your own illusions and delusions, like in your three-dimensional physical body, because you are very physical, Taurus. And then having to make decisions about, like, when we talk about prioritizing love, well, we have to have definitions of love and then prioritizing, like, do I love them or do I love them? Do they love me? Do they love me? Who do I love? How do I love them? What is the definition of love in each situation? Each situation might have a different definition of love for you. So it feels to me that it feels that this looks like it's external energy. To me, it feels like you, dear Taurus, the way to handle it is understand that you are going to be confronted. You're going to be confronted and presented with a very, very stark and powerful, vivid image of yourself and your own awesomeness, okay? And in that own awesomeness here and here and here, you're going to realize literally how awesome you are. But with all that awesomeness in the human form, you get exposed to the limitations and the challenges of what it means to be a spiritual being living in a three-dimensional physical form. It can be extremely challenging, but the Scorpio energy is going to be here to help you face that so that you can learn and grow and prosper and blossom even more. It'll be a challenge, but this is potentially very valuable to you, very useful to you, and there is no harm intended here. It's purely for your benefit. It doesn't have to be one single individual. It doesn't have to be a Scorpio person. It could be anybody who is willing to go the distance with you, to go to that depth of love with you, where they are willing to be the mirror, to the point even when you, Taurus, might want to smash the mirror because you're not seeing the reflection that you want, or you're seeing things reflected back to you that you didn't expect or didn't want, and it's too much. So sometimes people blame the mirror. It's like you know what we're talking about, Taurus? Like, it's not me, it's the mirror. You're the one with the problem. And that's the crushing reality of being a physical person. Sometimes we reach our limits where we can't handle it anymore. We start to project and blame. But this is all good. You need to know all of this and everything. So please enjoy this. The way to handle it is be grateful for the mirror. Be grateful for the really strong people who really, truly love you, because they're not going to go away. They're not going to give up on you, and you are going to ascend and become greater and more evolved and more divinely ordained and more satisfied with life, and be able to enjoy life even more, okay? At the spiritual projections, okay? At the spiritual levels. So this is very much about a month of ascending, okay? Ascending by going through almost like this purging purgatory type of energy. That's what I'm sensing here. And then coming back to a full revelation through the mirror energy of the Scorpio season, and then seeing your own wonder. and your own limitations, and it's all beautiful. In other words, it's an amazing experience to be alive and be a human being with all our limitations, but it's also a very delicious thing, and it would be very appropriate for you, dear Taurus, to celebrate your sovereignty and celebrate the fact that you are deeply loved by certain significant others, and they are holding true to you as the mirror for you. Okay? It's a beautiful thing. I see this as a beautiful thing, Taurus. Okay? Let me go back. I want to check in with everybody again. Hold on, I got stuck. I got stuck. Give me a second. I don't know if I can save this, people. I don't know how to save it. What did I just do? Give me a second. Everything got frozen. I'm still here. I'm still doing stuff, but I'm trying to do technical things at the same time. Forgive me. Forgive me. Hold on. I don't want to do that either. I want to do this. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, everything just crashed. Ah! No, I didn't. So you're just hearing me moaning and groaning behind the scenes, trying to salvage some of the technology. And I think we're good. Let me just see what happens here. Let me just check it out. Okay? So, with any luck, we're together again. Yay! Hello, Taurus. That was kind of a rip-roaring reading there. And I'm glad we got to the end of it. I felt really, really positive and happy for you by the end of it. Okay, especially when you get to that point of mirroring. Okay, so I think a lot of October is going to be going through that. There's a lot of, to me, it feels like a lot of pressure to get to the point, to get prepared for Scorpio season. A lot of cleansing, clarifying, refining, and purifying. But it's really, really worth it. You're going to really understand how amazing it is when you love thyself, King of Cups, and you stick to that no matter what. No matter what everyone else or anyone else is doing, and then everything comes full circle, and you realize that, wow, when you really, really do that, and you live that by example, it's highly appreciated and highly valued by certain very specific individuals in your community. And anyone else who can't handle it, that's their loss. Don't worry about them. You love thyself, and at that degree, at those frequencies, you're going to attract, through the laws of attraction, those who reflect the equal back to you. Someone else, certain others who are very deeply loving of themselves, and then they can reflect that back to you. So you see the own wonder of self, okay? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, Taurus. I'm really happy for you. Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's beautiful, okay? So, maybe time to pop open a bottle of champagne towards the end of the month. Just a suggestion. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to polish this off now with a little bit of champagne. Oops, excuse me. No, I'm going to give you an oracle. Wow, that would be so good to get some champagne, wouldn't it? I love champagne. I really love champagne. Oh, man. I wouldn't like to get drunk. I do not like getting drunk. I don't really like drinking for the sake of drinking. I just like these specific beverages. Just in tiny amounts. They're so delicious. Hey, Linda. I see you. Yes, it was a pretty intense reading, right, Candace? Whether you're a Taurus or not. Kind of doesn't matter. So I'm going to pull this oracle. This is a grounding card. I'm trying to put this to basically, let's come back down to earth again after going through this like cinematic experience here for your reading. Okay. It's just going to be one oracle. This Gaia deck, Tony Salerno writes in very blunt, direct, unambiguous terms. And I want to attribute all this to the Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, which is very sweet for you with your Uranus and Taurus energy, and a little bit of extra goodness there from the Neptune and Pisces, just to get everything nice and rounded, okay? Hey, thanks, Linda. I see you. Yeah. No, don't shake it up. Don't shake it up. Just open the bottle very carefully. There is a way to do that. And then savor it. Okay, here we go. So your card is coming up in a second here. Here we go. Let's have a look. Ganesha. Now, I don't know much about Ganesha culture. I'm just going to read from the book in a minute. It says, clearing away obstacles, protection, guidance. Okay, so here's a lady with an elephant trunk. So there you go. And she's got elephant tusks, okay? I don't know much about Indian symbolism, so I'm just literally going to default to the book here. I hope you don't mind. Thank you very much, dear Taurus. Okay, it says here. Okay, this is really specific. Ganesha. Ganesha is one of the most powerful worshipped deities in the Hindu pantheon of gods. Ganesha has shown up in your reading today as an omen of good fortune. Whatever has thwarted your progress or prevented you from moving forward will soon be resolved. An obstacle is cleared and you are free to move on. Your plans are now able to come to fruition. Know that everything happens for a reason. The blockages you faced were in fact a blessing in disguise. The act of divine intervention. Wow. Timing and circumstances were previously not favorable, and your efforts would only have ended in disappointment and failure anyway. But the path is now clear and the timing is right. Your stars are in alignment. Oh gosh, it sounds like a fortune teller now. Your stars are in alignment. Well, in a way they are. When you think about the Uranus thing and the Scorpio season coming up, it's a really powerful alignment for all Taurians, okay? And it's like we're preparing to get there. So this is a really, really sweet card for you. Okay, Taurus? So add it all up. It's a kind of a sweet reading. When you add this, with this, I'd say it's really kind of sweet. Maybe not easy, but definitely delicious. Wow. I think I've only read that card a couple of times with a few other people. So I hope that makes sense to you, Taurus, and I hope you understand and you can integrate that into your reading overall. I wish you all the best. It's been a pleasure to be here and do this for you. I'm going to be doing another reading very soon today, and then another one later today. I've got 2 more readings to do today. I'm going to check out with you guys first, though. Hey. Hey, Fritali just showed up as well. Hi. So, I'm not going to elaborate any further. I got really, really engrossed in the reading there. Sometimes it's just like reading a book or something. I get completely mesmerized. And it's like I see a movie. I like to watch my little Netflix in the evening. And, a few minutes just to sort of unwind. But my whole life is becoming more and more cinematic as it goes along. This whole thing is like a weird cinematic experience in a way. And so when I do the readings, I feel them very cinematically, and it's like my job is to narrate the story as it unfolds. So I hope you get something out of this, Taurus. Love thyself. Let's do this. We'll do this for everybody. I'm going to play a little bit of farewell music so we can all get on with our day, and I can get prepped up for the next reading. Okay, and I'll be back, maybe in an hour or 2 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. So let's see. I'm going to play it out with a little bit of music here. Okay, so bear with me. I just did a huge Windows upgrade, which you can't escape from. It's impossible to escape from it all, and it really did some huge churn-ups in the computer, and I spent hours trying to refix everything. Okay, so hopefully this will work for you. Let's see what happens.
Yes.